Hey friend, Dr. Melissa here, and I want to have a real heart-to-heart conversation in this video about your worth. If you are a visionary leader, you know that you're already out serving in the world. You're showing up with a big heart and a big purpose, and you're going out and you're giving and giving and giving. The question I have for you today is, are you allowing yourself to fully receive? To receive your own value, to receive your own worth. And that comes in everything from literal dollars exchanged, right, to an energetic exchange, how you're valuing your own worth to be healthy, to be vibrant, to be loved and cared and supported for in the same way that you show up and love and care and support the things that matter to you most. And it's a interesting thing that can happen at a deeper unconscious level is that those of us that are kind of out serving in the world, showing up in big ways, mission driven, we have a purpose, we want to go make impact, we love what the lives that we get to touch, the transformations we get to support. Can you feel me? Is this you? Well, oftentimes what happens to those of us that like to be this, you're my visionary leaders, my change agents is what I kind of refer to you as. What ends up happening is that there's so much of our identity wrapped up in the value of giving. Do you see what just happened? And seldom is there the intentional design in our business, our relationships, our schedule, our day-to-day lives to allow a proper balance of receiving. If you give and 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 give, what happens? You become stretched thin, right? You become depleted. You become worn out, burnt out, stressed out. You become the less than optimal, vibrant, amazing you. And if you are anything less than your peak self, your limitless potential, your pure optimal expression of the highest outcomes that you as a human are here to bring into this world, then aren't you in fact working against yourself? You want to show up and make an impact. You want to do great things in the world. You want to help to change lives, and you are. Yet if you are personally out of balance, then the very thing that you love doing and that you want to do more of, you're actually hindering yourself. It's almost like you are rebelling against yourself. So what I want to take the next few minutes on this video together to really explore is that in order for you to experience and enjoy greater wealth and well-being, it starts at the foundation of your worth. How do you view your own worth? Are you valuing your worth? Just yesterday, I had a conversation with a potential new client, and this is a pretty common conversation. And this individual said to me, the words were, I want to what was it? Excuse me. The words were, I want to get paid my worth. I want to get paid my worth. I want to earn my worth. And I thought that was really powerful. And then we ran through. So when I sit down with any potential new client and we get ready to really dive into what's possible for you, uncovering, your purpose and your mission in your business and in your life, and making sure that there's balance and bliss between both sides. So in this context, we were looking at their business and I said, great, let's go ahead. If you want to earn your worth, let's look at your numbers, because your numbers never lie, right? And this happens for all of us. Even if you just run your household budget, you look at your debit card, you look at where you're spending every month, our numbers never lie. Our numbers always reflect the truer picture of what's actually going on. And whether we consciously believe it or not, our numbers will show where we value our worth or where we don't. So if it's in the context of your house and you're looking at your debit card and you're looking at where do I spend my money every day, that's showing you unconsciously what you value, what you believe to be really important and or necessary, what you find worthy to exchange your money for. In the context of your business, so with this individual, when we looked at their numbers were incredibly low. And this happens so often because, again, this person is out there sharing their mission in their heart. And so when you love what you do so much, it can sometimes feel like you're supposed to give it away. If we love it so much, we just want to share our gift. And yet fundamentally, if you forget that your gift has value, okay? So now let me go over into wealth for just a moment. Wealth is an exchange of value. Wealth is simply an agreed upon currency. It's money, right? An exchange of what we have said, I believe this is valuable, so I'm going to give you this much currency because I find that valuable and I want it. So just like you're spending money every day on household items, on coffees, on clothes, on college tuition, those are things that you perceive to be valuable. So there's an exchange of your wealth for that value. So now let's come back to worth. In your business, in your own life, okay, in your own mission, heart-centered mission, however you are showing up and sharing it with the world each day, you must recognize that if you want to earn your worth, you must charge your worth. You must look within, and it's sometimes really hard for people to kind of put a price tag on that. And so if you've ever kind of said, well, how do I measure my worth? Is monetarily. How do I measure my worth monetarily? And one of the things that I would encourage you to consider is you can always just kind of do some number exercises. So there's always kind of this idea of what you need and what you want, right? And then here's our growth opportunity in between. And just like I say, when you run your numbers, you always know the hard facts. You know where you're at, you know where you want to be. So if you're trying to figure out, well, how do I define and how do I measure my monetary worth? I'd like to earn more. I'd like to charge more. I'd like to receive more for all that I'm giving because I love what I do and I would absolutely give it away for free. And yet I understand that if I give it away for free, then there's no perceived value exchange from the other person. And if we don't value something, then what do we do with it? Not much, right? Not much. So we can think that by gifting and giving things away, that we're doing a service to another. And yet that's not how it works. Because again, wealth and worth, they're interchangeable. Wealth is an exchange of value. And it doesn't always have to be dollar bills and currency exchange, but there has to be an agreed upon exchange. Think way back to the days of bartering, right? So even if it's not about exchanging currency, how can you barter? How can you exchange something value for value? And so if you are then looking to say, well, how do I put a price tag on it? You run your numbers. And what are your expenses every month? What are your expenses every month in your household and your business? You get a hard number and you say, how many hours are you working a week or a month? And you just divide what you need by how many hours and you at least get your hourly rate. Okay, that's your must have. That's your need. Now that may not be your want. What you may want is very different. And so then I say to you, great, well, what do you want? What would you want to be receiving every month? And for how many hours are you willing to work? And then you just do the division. And then you go, great, I want this. And so now I know my hourly rate should be up here. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you're simply playing a numbers game, and numbers games are really fun, gang. When you start to look at numbers and you begin to look at your worth and your value through different lenses versus somebody else's that maybe was placed upon you when you were a young child or, from the media or a teacher or wherever you picked it up along the way. The great news is that now you're here watching this with a new set of eyes, not the eyes of the you that was the fifth grader that got called on by the teacher and either applauded or dismissed, right? So maybe your worth got defined either positively or negatively by a single moment with a teacher or a single moment with a parent or a single moment with a boss on your first job when you were 15 years old, right? So today you're at a different point. And just because that used to be true, you had a moment in time years ago, that moment is not still active today. It doesn't have to be active today. That's not who you are today. So today I invite you to tell yourself who you are. You see, it's got to start with you. You have to own your own value. You have to cherish and love and know what you bring to this world. And yes, there's always more that you can bring. But what are you certain about today? What are you certain about? And if you have absolutely zero idea, you're like, Melissa, I don't know. I feel so lost. I feel so confused right now. Then it's okay to go ask the people that know you the best, that you know, like, love, and trust. And from family to friends to coworkers. And you can ask them, say, hey, I'm doing this project and I've got to get some different inputs from people that know me the best. What would you say, how would you describe me? What would you say that you feel are some of my greatest gifts that I bring each day? What do you think I do best? What do you think is the value that I bring into this organization, into this family? You can ask those questions. And it's a really strong, empowering kind of exercise because it's really interesting to see yourself through somebody else's eyes instead of your own. And sometimes we need that kickstart. We need to get out of our own head. We need to get out of our own limited view that maybe we have defined for ourselves and begin to look through different lenses. So, I use this analogy often. You and I can be in the same room. You can be on that side of the room. I could be here, and there's a light in between us. So I'm looking up at this light right now in my office. And if I'm looking from here, I'm seeing it at a certain angle. If you're on the other side of the room looking up at the same light, you're seeing it from a different angle. So even though we're both looking at the same light, we're seeing it from a different perspective. So what that means is we're going to have a different experience with that. I'm going to notice something on this side that isn't over there on that side. And you're going to notice something on that side that's not on this side. And so we're looking at the exact same thing with a different perspective. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so your worth, you're used to looking at your worth through a certain lens. And so the first thing I'd ask you to do is step outside of yourself. Step outside of yourself. Imagine that you're watching you and watch yourself from different angles. Like literally, if you could be an observer of you, if you could go to the side, if you could go to the back of the room, right? If you could go behind you, if you could go right in front of you, what would you notice about you? What would you notice about the gifts that you have, that you share without even trying? You just naturally, authentically show up. You naturally smile at strangers. You naturally hold doors open for people. You naturally care about others. Those are all gifts that are valuable and worthy. The fact that you're here right now makes you worthy. So as you're watching this, and we're going to get ready to wrap it up because this is a conversation that I could go on and on and on about, and I typically do. There's many different, what do I want to say, kind of pieces of content on my website over at Doc Melissa. So everything from podcasts and audio entrainment sessions, meditations on overcoming limiting beliefs about worth, and videos, all sorts of things. So this is a really foundational conversation. And it is something that even when we kind of break through one level and we feel that we're growing into another sense of self, another curveball could kind of come. I don't know if that's ever happened to you where you're like, gosh, here I am again, questioning and wondering, how did I get here again? And we want to go into the mental coulda, woulda, shoulda. We want to go into kind of beating ourselves up. And of course, how does that work? It doesn't work really well. It doesn't feel really good. And that's certainly not where you're going to find a confirmation of your worth and your value. And if you want greater wealth, you want greater health and well-being, you've got to value you. So go out and get curious about you. Go ask other people in your life that you know, like, love, and trust. Ask them how they perceive your value. What do they perceive your gifts to be? What do they think that you do really well and that you just kind of give effortlessly to the organization, to the family, to the friendship? Ask that. Get curious. And then imagine that you are an observer of you. You are watching you on a television. You're watching from over here, from back there, from right in front. You're looking at you outside of yourself, observing and noticing all the things that are really incredible about you. Because today, my friend, is a new day. And I absolutely know, I know with 100% certainty that your power is within you And maybe it feels like it's lying dormant right now, but I'm going to tell you that you are the controller of your destiny. You are the one that is able to say yes to you in a way that nobody else ever can, that nobody else will ever be able to give to you. And the more that you embrace who you are, the more that you embrace all the nuances that make you perfectly imperfect, imperfectly perfect, so perfect as you are, the more you embrace those, the more you say hell yes to those, the more that you claim your truth and just say, this is me, you will feel that confidence and that certainty. You will begin, as you allow yourself to observe your greatness, your value, your worth from other perspectives beyond just kind of in that internal dialogue and chatter. When you go outside of yourself and you become an observer, a witness of your own magnificence. Well, that, my friend, is when you do fully begin to embody your power. You activate what's already in there. It's already in there, literally in your genetic code. You contain the same code of kings and queens and discoverers from generations and generations and generations of humanity. It's all within you. So today I see you and I value you and I appreciate you. And if you want to earn your worth, then you must value your worth so that you can then go out and charge your worth. And as you are lovingly, confidently doing that, you will notice each and every day how the world shifts around you. And it's no longer about you trying to prove and trying to convince and trying anything. You're simply being. You're embodying your truth, your value and worth in such a way that it's like a magnetic beam. So if we think almost kind of, like attracts like, right? Your brain is literally a receiver. It's like you are a radio station. You're emitting a signal that is a very strong signal that will attract that back to you. So today is your day. Value your worth. Charge your worth. Experience greater wealth. And as you're enjoying all of that, notice the well-being that flourishes, that sense of living with purpose, on purpose. A life of meaning well lived is your magnificent life. I'm Dr. Melissa. For more great information, go to docmelissa.com. And if at any time you're really ready to up-level, you're ready to completely dismantle any limiting beliefs that could have otherwise been holding you back or keeping you stuck or keeping you playing small, when you absolutely in your heart and soul know that you are here to live big, to flourish, to thrive, and to make a lasting positive impact in this world, well, then that's the work I do with visionaries just like you. And if you go to docmelissa.com, you can always find out about booking a complimentary one-on-one assessment kind of strategy call. I like to call it a discovery call, to discover what is possible for you, to discover how to break through and break into your next level so that you can begin to express your highest outcomes in every aspect of your business, of your health, and your life, so that you can go out there, live, love, and lead with purpose. Thanks for tuning in.